Thank you for coming to our virtual viewing party. I'm going to do a little bit of introductions. So we have Lindsay, who is our company administrator. And if something isn't working for you technically, just speak up, or if you need anything, you can also private chat Lindsay and she'll troubleshoot and help you. And then we also have Melinda, who has been dancing with Artichoke for, I'm going to say 12 years, 11, 12 years.
I think it's 11.
Yeah. Let's see, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at 3 excerpts from 2 projects that we did in 2021. One is a new initiative that we have. The whole initiative is called Climate Connect, and it's it combines an environmental justice walking tour of an area where people learn about the history from an environmental justice perspective, and then interact with the locations, and then witness site performances. And there are interactive activities that focus either on a particular aspect of what's going on there, or one of our platforms. We've been active in plastic pollution for many years. So when we premiered in Gowanus, which the Gowanus Canal was New York City's first named Superfund site because of decades and decades of pollution, mainly from manufactured gas plants, but also from tanneries and things like that dump their toxins into the canal. It's currently being remediated. But one of the, just to give you an idea of things that we do, one of the activities that we did is we did a phone bomb of senators and assembly people supporting the Break Free from Plastic Pollution national bill, which is up for consideration, which like bans plastic bags nationally and has several other things baked into it, including producer responsibility. So that was kind of a fun thing. I would always imagine that people would come, because this was over the weekend, that people would come into their office and there's like, many messages from people and like, what's going on? So anyway, we like to integrate activism and civic engagement into our performance innovations and environmental activism. So the first thing we're going to look at is just some excerpts from what we call Just Gowanus, which was the first iteration of this Climate Connect interactive performance tour.
So we got about this much water and that much pollution. So I gotta point that out. So the canal is the most polluted waterway in the nation due to historical industrial activity and ongoing combined sewer overflow. Can anybody say CSO? CSO. Combined sewer overflow.
A studio apartment in there when I looked last year was like almost $4,000. Crazy. This is the potential future for Gowanus, right? Remember we were talking before, like 28 stories. This is not 28 stories. I think this is about 12. So double it, right? And that's what is potentially being proposed for either side of the canal. One thing that would happen with that is there would be a lot less sunlight that comes into the area. And what do things in the water need, right? They need sunlight to survive and thrive. So, the norm of climate change now is that we get heavy rainstorms, right? We don't get like trickles that go on forever. You get like a lot of water in a short amount of time. And yeah, so these streets down here are often under inches and inches of water after a storm.
people who've been fighting against the rezoning and kind of using the arts and performance as a tool to kind of raise awareness about what is at stake here in this rezoning battle. I'm really glad I came out today and I really got like a good context of what's going on.
Mi nombre es Arturo Moreno. Aprecio mucho el trabajo que está haciendo Artichoke Dance Company. Me interesa mucho lo que hacen, es importante para que la gente esté más atenta a lo que está pasando en la comunidad.
So that was our first iteration, and the tour is about 2 hours. And here we had 4 different performance locations, and that's built to be flexible. But whether we're working in our home area of Brooklyn or whether we're working in other locations, developing partnerships, particularly those working in climate justice and environmental issues is important. So we build those partnerships up with our presenter partners and within the community, and those really help feed both the information and the participation in what we're doing. So we're going to show in full the first section of the performance tour, and it was held on a Department of Transportation lot that houses salt. It was along the canal, and it also served as a major compost facility in Brooklyn. And I use the past tense because this particular location has been co-opted by the city of New York to build combined sewage overflow tanks to help capture some pollution that would otherwise go into the Gowanus Canal. So those tanks will be buried and then the salt lot will come back. But if you happen to go down to Gowanus, you're like, where is this place? It doesn't exist right now. It's been displaced. But anyway, it was super exciting to be able to bring people there because access is fairly limited. So we also like to bring people to unusual places that they might not have access to. So this was a Department of Transportation salt lot along the Gowanus Canal. So we've been working with plastic as a medium for quite some time, and over a decade ago made a commitment to use all recycled materials for our productions. I mentioned earlier, plastic pollution is part of our platform. And one kind of fun thing, so we have all sorts of workshops. One is models environmental justice through movement principles. We introduce people to our creative process and methodologies. And then we also have fashion workshops, which is fashion from trash. And we show people ways that they can make ready wearables or costumes out of recycled materials. And if you noticed in the video at the beginning, when the dancers came off of the salt pile, they were handing these little plastic flowers, crocheted plastic flowers out to each audience member. And we've kind of made that a part of our practice. And we've been working with a Brooklyn artist called Isabel Garbani, who makes them, and she does a huge installation with them. But so she is a visual artist that we've been working with to give little gifts as reminders to our audience to reduce, reuse, and refuse single-use plastics. The next project that we're going to take a look at is called Liberate the Earth. And one thing I love about this project is that the opening 10-minute section includes community members. And we've done this in several iterations. The excerpts that we're going to show you today was from a performance and collaboration of this project with a Southern Vermont Arts Center in Vermont, and this happened in September of this year. We were very lucky to get this in before everybody had to kind of shut down again. The community participants were 25 high school students from a local high school. So we had sent video of the main dance phrases of the piece ahead of time. They learned them. I had some conversations with the visual art teacher at the high school talking about how they could use plastic bags and other plastics to create their own costumes. And so they had done that ahead of time. And then we had about a 90-minute workshop with the students prior to the performance, and the performance occurred in about 50 acres of the sculpture park that is part of the grounds of the Southern Vermont Arts Center. So you'll see excerpts of us dancing around the sculptures, but the opening and of the opening section, which is with the 25 high school students, and they also get to give away little plastic flowers to the audience. So this is Liberate the Earth from this past September. Great. Since we have Melinda here, I'm going to ask her to say a couple words just about what it's like when we're working with a community and how we build our works kind of out in the world, which happens to be oftentimes on a site. So Melinda.
Yeah, I have found the process of working with the community really enriching. One, the people tend to be pretty great art lovers and or artists themselves. And so there's a nice exchange of ideas happening there. And it also gives us a chance, I think, to introduce people to an activity that they might not be used to doing. So it's really fun, especially with those kids, to like be able to see how excited they were to be able to perform, and then also to understand sort of the message behind what we're doing too. I feel like can be a really useful tool to get the message out, because it's not like an in-your-face or droning on about all the information, that it's a sneaky and fun way to get people interested and engaged. Yeah, I don't know if you want more, Lynn, or if that's kind of what you were.
Yeah, that's great. We at a certain point, particularly if a work relies on a place, we start working in that place, and the one thing that we found is like instantly we become arts ambassadors, because people stumble upon us working, and it's like we get a lot of questions, and I find that fascinating. First of all, to get people's interpretation about what it is that we're doing, and then to have a conversation about what it actually is that we're doing. And I remember one of the first times that we built a piece outdoors. Our schedule was very regular, and there was a group that would come of, I think it was preschool kids, and it was like, oh, they must be just taking their lunch break in this park where we happen to be rehearsing 3 days a week. And then come to find out, after a couple of weeks, I went and had a conversation with them. They're like, oh no, we come here to actually watch you. So that was particularly fascinating and a fun thing. So I also want to just mention further going on what Melinda said. We're starting a new program called Artichoke Ambassadors. And I get a lot of inquiries from particularly young and budding artists about how do you mesh your art making practice with activism, and particularly around climate activism, because there's a lot of anxiety about climate change happening over the last couple of years as the media attention to it has escalated. So we're starting an Artichoke Ambassador program as a way to mentor upcoming artists in developing an activist practice, an eco-activist practice alongside with their artwork, and to really mesh the two and provide some guidance for that. So if you know any young artists that might be interested, send them our way. We're going to be doing a trial run of it, a condensed trial run this spring, and then start kicking it off in the fall. And I think Lindsay's going to we have a survey just to kind of glean, that's helping us glean how we're going to put the program together and what people's interests are there. So feel free to pass that along if you like. Eva, yeah, questions?
So yeah, so the age, is there a particular age that you're looking for the ambassadors?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna tailor different wings to different things, but late high school through college and into early 20s is what we're thinking. We'll probably do the pilot in partnership with a couple of high schools, just so we can control it a little bit more, and then we'll probably do another pilot with early 20-somethings to see if we can actually mesh those two populations, or if developmentally it's not going to work, if we have to separate them out. But yeah, that's who we're targeting. But we're also now, we'll have to run a full one, I think, first, but we're already thinking about some kind of professional development series and curriculum that could be shared with educators, so that they could implement it themselves. It's like, here's the curriculum, and you can change it or do whatever you want. But if you want to actually use this as a guide in your classroom for the period of a semester or a year, you know, do it.
You've worked with that college level before in
College and
Florida, right?
yeah. So I've taught at university, and then done a lot of projects within universities, where we'll work cross-sectionally, both within the arts and sustainability and engineering, and, you know, all sorts of different folks kind of looking at a particular issue in a geographic area that's, you know, or a university issue. You know, there's oftentimes a sustainability department that is looking at very particular things that are happening in that place, and how do they get the, you know, student population on board, or the administration of, or, you know, there's all these things. So, and so that we try to integrate both the messaging and the arts practice to kind of amplify those messages in campus and in the community. So yeah, so we'll work in partnership there. Yeah. Great. Well, I know, Eva, you're local, so you'll probably hear more about this.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Yeah. Great. If there aren't any other questions, then this will be available on our YouTube channel in a couple of days. So if you want to go back and review anything, and Lindsay dropped a bunch of links in the chat. And we also, you know, on our YouTube channel and our Vimeo channel, there's other sections from both the performance tour and from other works that you can check out. And always feel free to reach out to us. There are links to reach us on our website, artichokedance.org. And we're here to have conversations or help however we can. If you're looking at your own sustainability practices, we're happy to have conversations and point out resources. We're well connected with resources, you know, both in the United States and around the globe, and can point you to some really great folks that can help you out if you're trying to achieve something. So yeah, I know, Hillary, it's a lot. We've been doing this for some years, but appreciate that you're here. And like I said, reach out. We're around, and we're here for conversation and to help however we can.